Alhamdulillah, all praise and thanks to Allah Subhanahu wa Taala for His blessing and gather us today in a talk with title How to Write a Winning FRGS Proposal. I am Dr. Azura and I'm going to be your moderator for today's event. Thank you very much to our audience from Zoom, and we are going to have in the YouTube channel as well. We are very honored today to have our distinguished speaker, Professor Kurohana Kumahamud. Professor Kurohana is the FRGS evaluator and also the head of ICT domain. So I guess she's the right person who can guide us, the ICT people to write the FRGS proposal. So I'm going to share a brief profile of Prof. Kurohana. Of course, there are many achievements, but I will highlight the outstanding achievement because we want to give more time to Prof to deliver her presentation. Prof. Kurohana is currently a professor in the Department of Computer Science, School of Computing, UUM, and an adjunct professor to Shibaura Institute of Technology, Japan, as well as Asia E-University Malaysia. She is also the visiting professor to the Universitas Islam Indragiri and Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta, Indonesia. As an academic, her research interests include computer systems, performance modeling, and colony optimization, computational intelligence, and wireless sensor network. Her book on C programming has won the Best Publication Award in the academic book category in 1999. And in 2002, she published another academic book on mathematics for business. She was the chief editor of the Journal of Information and Communication Technology, and this one is indexed by Scopus, Prof. For 21 years and associate editors to several other refereed journals. She also chairs a biannual international conference on computing and informatics. Without further ado, please welcome Prof to the audience. If you have any questions, perhaps you can write the questions in the chat box and I will read the questions for you. You may start the presentation, Prof.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Azura. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh to everyone in this virtual session today, this morning. I'm honored to be invited to give a talk on how to write a proposal, especially getting the FRGS grant is actually a starting point for all the lecturers to later on further to get other grants, right? So this is something like a stepping stone. To me, when I was young as well, getting this grant is really mean a big thing to me, because from this grant, I learned on how to do research, having students, GRA. We don't call it GRA at that time. And then we call it RA, but then we give them salary and we also have to produce to make sure that they graduate. And from this FRGS, it helps me to obtain PRGS and also LRGS. And apart from that, from FRGS, it helps me to become a panel and also get to know other panels of different area. So that's the main thing that we need to do. Not only we were able to obtain grants, but we were able to do networking to get to know other peoples from other universities in our area and also not in our area. Because being an academic, that should be the way. Right. So this morning, I'm going to explain on, hopefully, can help you to understand on how to write a winning proposal. Let me just enter option here. I'll give a bit on the introduction of FRGS. Probably some of you have know it, but probably some of you have not known it before. From the data that I have on your application, this year, you from UIA have submitted roughly about 13 15 proposals to the domain of ICT. Only one was successful, but there was a story behind it. Probably if you are not in RMC, you wouldn't know the story, but I'll tell you after this what happened. Then I'll talk about the component mapping. This is something like a top-down approach for everybody to realize that you need to know this so that your flow of the information or data or writing is in the right is in the right order, right? So some mapping here, and then I'll show you some the writing guideline, which is the heart of the talk today, and a bit on the why your proposal is being rejected. Yes, I've mentioned earlier, I am the head of the domain, ICT domain, for I think almost what? We started in 2006 actually, FRGS. I joined in 2007 with Mohi. So from there on, I've become the head of the engineering for 2 years, and then I was appointed the head for ICT from 2009. So now more than 10 years, right? More than 10 years. So definitely we have panels from all the universities in Malaysia, and we try to spread out the panels. We don't take maybe 10 panels from one university. No, we try to get all the panels from other universities as well, to show that it's fair and square. But all the panels have got to have a certain H index, not only a certain minimum H index, but you need to be able, you need to also secure some grants. You need to have experience in doing FRGS grant and related to evaluation as well. So for a start, you need to realize that this proposal, a proposal is a document actually, a document presented for a case, presents a case. So in our case, a proposal presents a problem, that a problem to be solved for an idea. And we also present, among other things, the method to solve, or the method to fulfill the objective in solving the problem. So that's what a proposal is. So it's a document. So if somebody, if anybody will have phobia, like you have phobia in math, so phobia in writing FRGS proposal, just think of it as a document with a problem of a case, and you have to fill in certain, you have to put in the objective, the methodology to solve the problem. As easy as that. Okay, as easy as that. So we move on. You need to wait for the announcement. So this is an old announcement. So there's no year here. You need to have wait for the announcement. I was told last week that it's going to be out by 31st October. Yet again, we need to wait for the ministry or the big bosses of MUHI to say, yes, you can advertise it. So I was told 31st October. So we wait. So when this is out, you got to go for the FRGS and you got to download the guideline, because there will be some changes in the guideline, some changes. All the head domains have a meeting last week from 13 to 15, looking at the guidelines, looking at the proposal itself, looking at the evaluation form. So there'll be some changes there, not major changes, but there'll be some changes. So I would strongly advise you to look at the guidelines for a start, and then guidelines. Okay, and then there'll be slight change of structure in the proposal itself, slight change of structure. Information is there, but slight change of structure, slightly, to make it easy for the evaluator to look at it and easy for you to digest as well, in order for you to put in the information. Right. In order for you to create a proposal, you need to do the literature review. You need to do the literature review. I think when you do your PhD, you also do a lot of reading. Then only you do your, you develop your proposal and submit to the university or to the potential supervisor. The same thing as it is now. So you can't embark on filling in the FRGS draft form if you haven't done any literature review. And it is inappropriate to put in the objective to perform literature review. That is wrong. Never put in the objective to perform literature review. Even though you do the review throughout your research period or throughout your PhD, because you want to keep abreast with what's going on. That's all. But the main thing is that you got to do your literature review before you fill in the FRGS draft form. So download the guidelines, and then you also need to know that, bear in mind, this is a fundamental research whereby you need to come up with a theory or model or algorithm or technique or scheme. What else? Something fundamental. Framework. Yeah, some people say framework is not a fundamental. It depends how serious or how comprehensive is the framework. A policy for us is not fundamental. Policy is something that is a value added to your fundamental work. Okay? And the fundamental thing should actually break through the boundaries of knowledge, whereby people can cite your fundamental output. Or Dr. Azura has come up with, say, XYZ model for distributed network. So somebody else later on, when she has published her work, somebody else can also, oh, I am going to enhance Dr. Azura's framework on distributed network or model on distributed network because there is some problem with her network or some issues, maybe. That's the kind of thing that we need to do. Okay. Now, also you need to know that your output should be able to benefit to the Malaysian citizen. Some people will ask me, maybe you were thinking, what can a model benefit people on the street? What can the model benefit people in the teachers or the lecturers? Now, this is where you need to have some general knowledge. General knowledge on how later on that model can be applied or can solve the problem that we are facing in Malaysia at the moment. So, saying that you need to know the socio-economic drivers. You need to know, to understand it, not to memorize it. You need to know the 10 socio-economic drivers, the 15 KEGA, key economic activities, the 18 SDG, and lastly, the 17 Anjakan Besar. I don't have the English version of this one, but this is something new. How many of you know about what is Anjakan Besar? No. But you know about the budget that you are getting 2,000 later on in February next year. Right. The RMK 17 budget is related to this Anjakan Besar actually. Now, let's move on briefly. What you need to have to know, some general knowledge, so that later on you can relate your fundamental output to these 4 main things that I've listed on the screen there. Now, before we move on to that one, obviously you know your domain area is ICT, and how does that domain area related to the 8 research clusters then? You got to visualize as well. If you're doing something on a model on how to optimize the production of rice, say, yeah, the optimize the usage of a certain network bandwidth. Okay, so then you can see here where can you contribute, because in the form you need to choose one of it. You got to visualize. That's why I said you got to do a lot of reading. If you're not the kind of to do a lot of reading, but you're the kind to watch the television, fine. Look at the news and everything. Look at it, then you can know you can apply. If you are not the kind to watch television or to do a lot of reading, go for some presentation, discussion with your friends, because when you discuss about certain things, definitely you get more knowledge. Yeah. How can AI be useful in health? Yeah, so there are certain things, mental health or precision health in Malaysia. Precision farming. So how do you do precision farming? Okay. So you got to enhancing sustainability food security, perhaps, in AI. So you can go for food safety and security. But if you're in the social media thing and you wanted to do some classification of some sentiment analysis, say, whether the sentiment towards government or sentiment towards something is whether good sentiment or bad sentiment, then you can go for this social and economic well-being, societal harmony and super diversity in Malaysia. So perhaps this one is linked with all this social media. So that's how you relate the things is. You got to imagine, you got to dream, you got to visualize how your model, your fundamental output can be applied in this 8 research cluster, either one of the 8 research cluster, because you got to choose only one. Now, coming back to this 10 socio-economic drivers. So you have energy, business, finance, services, culture, arts and tourism, blah, 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 until you got environment and biodiversity. So again, there is a section in the proposal under the background section, but the subsection there towards the end, I think, towards the end, how can it be applicable to the government or something like that's written. The last section, the last subsection in the background. So that one, you have to write down maybe in just one sentence. How is it to relate to maybe to smart cities and transportation? Your model or your algorithm can be used, or maybe to water and food. So just look at it, which one is applicable to you and try to relate to that. And so there's this one, we have 15 key academic growth activities. You can choose more than one in this case. Okay, and SDG, they have 18 here. Can choose which one is related to you. And this 17 anjakan besar. So try to relate to each of these components. I know this anjakan besar maybe it's not in the, it's not, you don't have to choose one of it, but then this one you can use when you want to write down in the background as well. That section on the application to the government. So a lot of reading actually, a lot of reading, not only reading about the area of your research, the articles that has been published in journals, but also some general knowledge that you need to know. What is it all about? So we as a lecturer, we don't want people to when meeting people ask you about anjakan besar and you say, I don't know about anjakan besar. So especially when you are already an associate professor or professor and people, your neighbors start talking about it, or maybe your other people when you meet, they start discussing about this thing and you're just dumbfounded because you don't know. That's a disgrace actually, because you are an academic. So far, any question? Dr. Azura, any question in the thing?
So far, no, bro.
Okay, can I move on?
Yes.
Just stop me along the way if you want to ask any question.
All right. So we can ask during your presentation, yeah, bro?
Yeah, sure. You can
All right,
ask.
okay.
Yeah, otherwise I feel like I'm talking to someone behind the curtain.
Okay, bro.
Okay, yeah. Okay, now this is the one that I said I want to give you the experience of top-down writing. Yeah, top-down. When we want to evaluate the proposal, we will definitely have this in mind. Is it the information from the top to the bottom, from the beginning of the proposal to the end of the proposal, does it mesh? Does it goes in sequence, or does it really flow? The flow is logic or not? So I'm talking about the title will be related to the objective and also related to the section of expected output towards the end there. It has to be related. And then also the problem has got to be related to the research question, objective, and method. See the objective here and here. We will check on that one. So when you write your proposal, you got to check whether it's related or not. I'll give you one example here. If in the title, when we look at the title, there is a word model, and we know that that is the fundamental output from that research, from that proposed research, the word model. So when we read the problem statement, we will be looking at, did you write any issues related to the most current model? There are many models in that particular area that you have chosen, but I'm sure you will pick up one model that is the best model, and for you to continue doing your research, you want to enhance the model because you find out that the best model so far has some issues. So you have to write that best model there and issues related to the best model, meaning that you detail out the issues in that best model that you want to enhance. So if we couldn't find the word model in the problem statement, then there's something wrong, because you talk about you want to produce a model. And then in the research question, because it's related to the problem statement, you will make sure that you write questions related to the issues of the model that has been mentioned in the problem statement. The objectives definitely is related to the questions. If the objective related to the questions, meaning that objective is related to the problem, because research question related to the problem. And definitely the methodology is how you describe in detail on how to achieve the objectives. Yeah, clear? That's how you...
Prof, sorry to interrupt you. If I may ask question,
Yes.
is there any keywords that we should look or to be avoided when we doing the title and so on?
Title, I will go on in detail after this.
All right, okay.
So I want you to understand the concept. Yeah, the flow is related, the sections are related to one another actually. That's what I want to point out. And how it's related this way. Okay. Any other question from the audience, from the rest of you? Okay, I'll move on.
Assalamualaikum, Prof.
Salam.
I have one question.
Hamira. Oh,
How are you,
Hamira.
Prof?
Fine, thank you. Oh, lupa dah kalau pindah daripada UUM.
Prof, I have one question. In the previous FRGS application form, there is a section of hypothesis. Is that is compulsory, or how do we feel it?
No, I'll move on to that later on.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
Okay.
maybe ahead. Okay.
Sorry.
Okay, it's okay, no problem. Okay, this is just, as I said, top down, the global view, top down, so that you have the idea on how it's related. Now, we go on to the writing guideline. Yeah. Okay, the title just now Dr. Azura asked. So it's 5%. So the percentage might change, or maybe, okay, so it might be title and keywords perhaps, yeah, when later on when you look at the evaluation form, and also when you look at the forms itself later on, yeah, evaluation form. Now, title, it has to be informative. When people read the title, that's it. Informative. I know the fundamental output is a model. See, it's informative. It should be interesting as well. Try to make it interesting and try to make it brief. When I say brief, I would recommend number of words between 9 to 15. 9 to 15 words. Yeah. Not to say that when it's 8 is wrong, or when it's 16 is wrong. No. This is just something like say a rule. It's not a hard and fast rule. between 9 to 15 words is just nice. Just nice. Yeah. Can you have a question mark in the title? A question as a title. Can you have? I would say I don't encourage it. You can have questions in a paper when you publish, but not in a proposal as a title. Yeah? No question mark in the title. Of course, title should reflect. When you write a title, when you have completed your proposal, check whether it's reflecting the content of the proposal or not. What do you put in the title? The main things that people want to see so that it is informative. I would say the fundamental output, the method, and the application domain, if you can put the three things in it. Fundamental output, method, and application domain. In any particular order, it's fine. Right. Can you have acronym in the title? Yes, you may, if the acronym is acronym that is well known, like the word ICT, IO, input output, IO or ICT. But acronyms that are not well known, that are not usually being used, and when people read, people don't really know, even if acronym in the area of ICT, and then another ICT person come and read, and people ask, what is that acronym stands for? No, cannot use the word of the acronym in the title. Okay, some people say, I put the full thing and I put bracket acronym. That cannot be done as well. Put in full, no bracket acronym. In short, no acronym in the title. Okay, now I have 4 examples here. These are good and bad examples. The first one, enhanced binary gray wolf optimization algorithm for speech selection in anomaly detection. So we can see here that the fundamental output is an algorithm. What's the method that they're going to use? It gives an indication that method here, it doesn't mean that a step-by-step method. How can you put step-by-step method in the title, right? So the indication here is that it's a combination between gray wolf optimization algorithm and binary thing. What we know that is a fundamental something, the output is fundamental is because it's algorithm and enhanced. Somebody and then people ask, can I not put the word enhance? Just start with binary gray wolf optimization algorithm for feature selection in anomaly detection. Yes, you may. You may cancel the word enhance, delete the word enhance. Still, it shows that fundamental is algorithm. It's just, it doesn't show right from the beginning that you are doing some modification to binary gray wolf, to existing binary gray wolf optimization algorithm. If you could enhance, straight away you are telling us that you are doing some modification to the existing binary gray wolf optimization algorithm. What's the application domain? Anomaly detection. Feature selection in anomaly detection. Anomaly detection usually deals with data in the network. It could be bank data or some other types of data or network inclusion, that sort of thing. Yeah. So this is the application domain. So everything is there. How many words? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 words. Within 9 and 15. Right. Second one, there's no word something like new or modified or enhanced or novel. No such thing. Avoid using novel because you don't know yet whether your output will be a novel output or not. Don't put novel in front of a title. Multi-objective Pareto and colony system based algorithm for generator maintenance scheduling. Definitely, you know, the application domain is actually scheduling of what? Generator maintenance. The maintenance of the generator scheduling, right? So Still, again, an algorithm will be the fundamental output. And the method is something to do with Pareto and ACS. It's clear. Of course, people will know what the researcher will do, but then from the title, we know that something to the Pareto and also ACS. Output is an algorithm, a multi-objective algorithm for this domain. Now, the third one, and still the number of words is within 9 to 15 words. The third one, an enhanced method for cloud protocol testing. Looking at the number of words, it's only 6, and it's not informative, isn't it? It's too brief until lacking some words to give us more information. Application domain is there, cloud protocol testing, yeah. Output, fundamental output, yes, it's an enhanced method, but we don't know what is it because the method is missing. I put a red color here because you don't start a title with N or A. Try not to do it. The study, wrong. N, wrong. Wrong. Don't try, don't put it. Start with enhanced method for enhance something. If you want to modify this title, enhance blah, 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 blah method for cloud protocol testing. That'd be better. Number 4, development of fuzzy detection system for efficient pedestrian detection in traffic areas. Looking at it, there is a repeated word there, detection, something which you have to try to avoid repeating the same word in one sentence in the title. Briefly, when you read this one, you know that it is not, the title doesn't show it's a fundamental because it is a development project. It is classified as applied research. Applied research is a development. Furthermore, what here you have here system. Development of fuzzy detection system. So applied again. And then I put a red here, efficient, because you don't know yet whether your system will be efficient or not. Yeah. Application domain, yes, it's there. But the output is a system from this one. But yet again, I'm talking about title on its own here. This is not a good title, even though the words are number of words is between 9 to 15, but it's not a good title. It reflects a non-fundamental, it reflects a applied research. Okay. And people might say, there's a word system here. There's a word system up here somewhere. System here. So this system and this system down there are two different things. This is the name and colony system. This is a system, a prototype, the one down here. Any question? That's a title actually. Any question?
Any questions from the audience on the title? We have more sections, right, Prof?
Yeah, more section. Oh, throughout.
Yeah.
The whole thing. We have 3 hours, right? Today?
Yes, 3 hours.
3 hours.
All right, any questions from the audience? If not,
if you have the proposal with you now, you can edit it straight away, or you can put a note there. Maybe you can't coin the title now as I go on, but then you can just put a note there, what you can do, what you can delete, or what you can add, that sort of thing. Of course, coining a title is quite difficult. Sometimes it needs some, ilham, okay, for you to get the title correct. If you don't have any question, I'll just move on.
yes, Prof.
Yeah, keywords. People think that keyword, oh, it's so simple. I just put keywords. It's not simple, actually, keywords. It's not simple. Keywords represent the content of your proposal later on. And keywords also can be used for pattern search. And when we evaluate, you wanted to see that you use these keywords, the same keywords in your pattern search as well. So they allow us to give between 3 to 5 keywords. You can put in as many as 5, 4, or 3. So what are the keywords then? You need to have a popular keywords. Why I said popular keywords? Because when people search for document, say for example in Scopus, they will use the most popular keywords that people search. Things that will come to the mind and to other people's mind. Popular keywords that is in your area, not just popular alone, but in your area. How to check for whether the keywords is popular or not? Very simple thing. I'm not talking about ChatGPT. Of course, if you are good in using ChatGPT, you can get everything in there from there. ChatGPT can also suggest you title, keywords, and everything. But this is not apart from using ChatGPT. This is using it yourself. You can go into Scopus, and I'm sure all the university have subscribed to Scopus. Just type a keyword that you use in your area. Search within the title of the document, not within abstract and everything. Just within the title of the document, title of article, and see how many words come on, how many documents were retrieved. If there's hundreds of thousands of documents, it's a good keyword, provided that the documents are all related to your area. I can type a keyword and I get 1 million documents, and that 1 million documents come from various domains. So that's not the correct keyword, it's too general. That takes me to the word unique here. It is a unique keyword if you type in, and it will get to you several hundreds of documents, all in your particular area. Then that keyword is a unique keyword for in your area. So how to make the keyword unique? Sometimes one keyword is not unique, because if you type just a single word as a keyword, you get so many documents, and not all documents are in your area. So you got to create long tail keywords. What is long tail keyword? Long tail keywords are keywords that when you combine more than one word. I would say N colony system, 3 words. N colony system, 3 words, right? So I can make that into one keyword. So that is very specific and unique. So if we type N colony system in the Scopus, you can get a document related to N colony system. What else then? Keywords that you want. Distributed system, see. 2 words as one keyword, become one keyword. Distributed system. What else? Fuzzy logic. If you type fuzzy itself, it doesn't represent only computer science, many things. But if you get fuzzy logic, then that word is a computer science word. It becomes one keyword, which contains 2 words. So this is called long tail keywords. Understand? So this is knowledge on what are the good keywords for you to put in your proposal. Okay, I want to move on now.
Boleh, Prof.
Yeah. Now, executive summary. As I said, there'll be some changes, and there'll be some changes in this percentage as well, new one. So I'm just guiding you with the old percentage. But it might be changes, but the content will still be the same. It is an informative abstract. It's slightly different, because in executive summary of a proposal, you don't know the result yet. But abstract in a paper, you already have a result, because you are reporting something that you have done. Executive summary in this proposal is you are telling people, you are proposing a research. So it has to be informative. when you say informative, meaning that you have certain things that you got to put in the executive summary. I've listed down here things like the background, the problem, the objective, the method, the expected output, and also the significance of the expected output. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, you can combine the sentences. Perhaps expected output and significance you can combine into one sentence. Background maybe 1 or 2 sentences. Problem maybe 1 or 2 sentences. Objective just 1 sentence. Method a few sentences, because you got to describe the method that you want to undertake. So all these things has got to be, or let's say 300 words, with not more than 300 words. No citation to references in the executive summary. No subheadings in the executive summary. Summary, because of 300 words, it has to be concise, precise, and compact. If you don't have a flair in writing, you can always read articles or something like that, previous proposal, thesis in your particular area. And if you like the flow of it, the reading of it, you can follow the style. Copy the style, not copy completely. Copy the style, put your content in it. Just copy the style of writing. After a while, you'll be good in writing as well, writing executive summary or writing abstract. Acronym. Yes, you may have acronym in the executive summary, provided that you define it when it is used for the first time. If you define it, but you never use it later on, don't define it at all. This is acronym. I'll show you one example on where to define. If you define and you use it and you don't define at all, you don't use at all. Okay, now this is one example here. It's a long example. If you remember this one, I was talking about the multi-objective general maintenance scheduling model or algorithm. In the first place, this algorithm, right? Now I changed to model. It's okay. The same thing. So this is an executive summary. I put in different colors here. The first one is the background. The second red one is the problem. The third one is the objective. The fourth one here is the method. The fifth one here is the output and implication of the output. Now let's go. The background here has got to be specific, narrowed down to what you want to produce. Existing multi-objective generator maintenance scheduling. There's an acronym here. I define it here. Models have considered unit commitment problem together with unit maintenance problem based on a periodic maintenance strategy. Very compact sentence. Many things in that. Unit commitment problem with unit maintenance, commitment and maintenance based on periodic maintenance strategy. So this is a single sentence to reflect the background of GMS. Now I have declared it here. I have to use it somewhere down here as well. And I'm sure I have it here, GMS here, there, down there. And here as well, and here as well. I use it. When I define it, I use it. Then I went on to after the background, I went on to the problem. These models, I'm talking about these GMS models, are inefficient because, you see the word unit commitment here, does not undergo maintenance, and periodic strategy cannot be applied on different types of generators. There. Okay. I see something not right with periodic and also unit commitment. And I also put related to that one, present graph models cannot generate schedule for the multi-objective GMS models, while existing Pareto ACS algorithm were not able to consider two problems separately. Here, look. The GMS model have considered this problem together. Now they're talking about they want the problem to be considered separately for some various reason. Two sentences to reflect the problem. Now we move on to the objective of the thing, a multi-objective PACS algorithm based on sequential strategy, which considers unit commitment and GMS problem. GMS is referred to the models. Separately will be proposed to obtain solution for a proposed GMS model. So talking about, then we go on talking about what will the researcher do to accomplish the objective. First one, they will develop a graph model, and then they will use Taguchi relational analysis method to tune the algorithm, the parameters, and then when testing it, they want to test it using the data RTS 26, 32, 36 unit dataset system for evaluation. And when they evaluate the algorithm, they will compare it, the result with other benchmark algorithm, for benchmark algorithm, including all these things. And using the metric, when you compare things, you need to know the performance metric set, or the metrics that they've used are relational rate, coverage, distance to Pareto front, Pareto spread, and number of non-delimited solutions. Also, they will use fragment tests to perform in determining the significance of the result, to show that if the result is significant or not. You might have a slight difference in slight improvement, but does the improvement is significant or not? So to test it, you can use fragment test to show if the difference, you see better result, but is it significant or not? So fragment test can be used to show whether it's significant or not. Now, one thing that I want to show here is that this is a multi-object determinant system, and they are using swarm intelligence, ACS algorithm, swarm intelligence. So when you compare your result, you got to compare with swarm intelligence algorithm as well. So here, simulated annealing, PSO, evolutionary strength, all these things, PSO, genetic, that sort of thing. Okay, compare apple to apple, not apple and orange. And lastly, you put in the proposed models and algorithm anticipated to solve the multi-objective GMS problem, while the new parameters values can be used to obtain optimal or near optimal maintenance scheduling of generators on different types of generating units to minimize the interruptions of energy and extend their lifespan. So very compact, less than 300 words, I assure you here, and straight to the point. Some other people might write this one differently. What I mean is in different sequence, because some other people will be better in writing as well. So make sure you can, if you want to write in other sequence, make sure that all the factors that I've mentioned earlier are all in there. Any question?
Prof,
Yeah.
in the executive summary, for the impact, can we put for example, we put the national agenda there?
Yes, you can put, but not too much, right? Because there is only one sentence down there, relate to a national agenda. Yeah, you can.
Okay. Other questions from the audience regarding the executive summary?
There are people who put in, the research will output one PhD student and one master student. No, that is not the impact. That is not the impact of the fundamental output. So bear that in mind. But I've seen a proposal where they put in the executive summary like that. Students and paper, no. Okay. Not the number of students here. Don't mention it here in the executive summary. Okay, I'll move on. this is the next section that you have to fill in. Obviously, you have to fill in all those who are the researchers, your area of, and blah, blah, blah. That one, I'll go down there later on, how you want to form the team and who to choose and why you have chosen certain people and collaboration and later on. I'm going straight on to the academic part here, the background. Background is probably this one will be increased or something like that. It will be changes in here as well, the percentage. But the background part, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 subsections in it. So we start off with problem statement, hypothesis, research question, literature review, and relevance to government policy. I'll move on to problem statement. Okay. In this case, this example is on the first title in my example of the title, modified binary gray book. Here. Right now, problem statement, it has to have a clear description of the problem and issues currently exist, which needs to be addressed. Just now when I said the most model, you got to make sure that you know very well the model that you want to enhance it, and you have identified the issues of that particular model. This is the part where it is difficult for the applicant because he or she doesn't really read the articles properly. Sometimes he or she doesn't really do literature review. So if you don't do literature review, and if you have 10 models, you have read only one model and the other 9 you have not read. How can you compare all the 10 models? If you read all the 10 models existing in your particular area, you know which model have what problem or what issues, and you can do comparison of the model, and you can come up with the best model so far, and you like the model and you want to modify the model to make it better. So this is what I'm talking about here. Because problem statement has to be detailed description of the problem, not one sentence like in the executive summary, and not a very vague sentences saying that all the models, this model, not the general problem in the particular area. It has a very specific one, and which you can detail out what are the issues related to the model or the problem, the main problem. Yeah, focus on scientific problems, not general problems, scientific problems. Yeah, and obviously you have to support it with citation. So that's why you got to do the reading. Author A says that this model, no. Author B, C, D, E, and you see all. So who said that the best model so far has issues? There. This is where you got to do the citations of the references that said so. If you don't put any citations in this section, then something is wrong. You won't get a lot of marks because all those problems come from your head and it's not scientific, it's not justifiable because you haven't published what you think. Okay. Now, this is one example. This is MBGWO, but the title just now, may I just move back? I just want to show. Okay. Enhanced BGWO, not MBG, but enhanced, because this title wants, this proposed research wants to enhance this one and without using the word modify. Okay? Just enhance this one and change it into enhanced binary gray book optimization algorithm. Okay, say for example, this is the best algorithm so far for selecting feature selection in anomaly detection. After reading all the work in swarm intelligence for feature selection in anomaly detection, and the author find out that the applicants find out that this is the best algorithm so far. But this algorithm, the best so far, has 3 main issues that resulted in low classification accuracy. Yeah, so has drawbacks in classification accuracy, low classification accuracy. So what is it? The issues in this algorithm? There is an issue in random initial population. There is also an issue in local optima. There is also an issue in linearly decreased parameter in this algorithm. 3 issues. So if you combine all the 3 issues, it becomes one big problem that resulted in low classification accuracy. So if you can come up to that stage when you identify your problem, then that is good, because all these 3 problem issues here, from here you can devise all the questions, research questions related to the issues. 1 question for each issue. Some people say 2 questions for 1 issue. Fine, it's okay. But usually, to make it easy, to make it simple and easy to read, easy understanding, 1 research question for 1 issue. This is the biggest problem for any application. Lack of literature review will not be able to identify something as detailed as this in your particular area. Okay. Any questions so far? Any question or research question on problem statement? The biggest hurdle. This is the biggest hurdle. You don't, you can't identify the problem for your research, you are in trouble. Because from there on, your writing will be haywire. Your writing will not be focused. Your writing will not have the same focus. Okay. This is the hypothesis. For IT, if you don't do any hypothesis testing, then you just write down not applicable. Usually we don't do hypothesis testing. People who did hypothesis testing are people in this business, education, social science. People do hypothesis testing. They have H0, H1, or you call it null and alternative hypothesis testing. If you don't have it, just write not applicable. Then you can move on to research question. As I said, research question relates to research problem and also sub-problems or sub-issues or the issues, right? Problem and issues, perhaps. I write down, because up there I wrote down issues. It has to relate to the research problem and also, so that you can, from there you can create the research question. Usually it starts with why and how, but not necessary. Usually. Okay, now I'll show you an example afterward. So this is the section on the background. So we have covered what? Problem statement, hypothesis, and research question. We will move on to literature review in the form. So what to write in the literature review? It introduces an overview of the main research area, including the scope. What does this mean then? How can you introduce all these things? Look at your title again. Look at the bombastic words in your title. If you have anomaly detection, definitely you got to write anomaly detection, something on anomaly detection. If you have models, what models? Just now? Gray wolf optimization or algorithm. Yeah. If you have algorithm, you got to write about algorithms. You got to compare the algorithms in the literature review, because if you don't review the algorithms if you don't write algorithms in the literature review, various algorithms, we know that you haven't done the correct review. And you wanted to come up with a fundamental output, the algorithm, and yet you haven't reviewed any algorithm. So something is not right. So look at the things in your title and elaborate the title. So that will become your literature review. Briefly present current problems. Briefly, because the detail is in here in the problem statement. This one briefly. The common problems for all the algorithms or the common problem for all the model. Briefly. Here, this discussion on major theories or model. It depends on the title. If you have you want to come up with a new theory, then discuss on all the theories that are related to the area, and also advances in area under the study that you are going to perform. Obviously, you need to have the latest recent 5 years references, and not only the recent, but you need to show to the reader that you are well aware of the history of the things that you review. So maybe several all fundamental references you got to cite as well, but majority of the references has to be the last 5 years, the recent references. How many then in these references that you want to have? To me, 20 references is good enough. 20. Out of that 20, maybe 5 not the recent ones. Then 3/4 of it should be recent ones and related to the area. Writing has to create reader interest. The writing is interesting to read. So, the references, is it from textbook? No, it has to be from journal articles. Can you have some proceeding? Yes, you may, but not all. Can I have all from journal articles? Very good. How many from proceeding and journal articles? Not 50-50. Maybe 75-5. 75-25, sorry, 25-25. So meaning if you are 20, the number of references are 20, maybe 15 are from journals and 5 from proceeding. It shows the standard of the articles that you have read, that you have reviewed. Is it all from Scopus? None from those bogus journal? Well, a mixture is okay. We are not that particular on that. But not all from bogus thing, but we want from good Scopus and WAS journal. To show the quality of your work, good quality work. Okay. Don't put too long a background. Some people have 2 pages of background. When you have 2 pages of background, we know that you copied from somewhere, either from your thesis or from your student's proposal or something like that. Try not to show that you copied. To me, 3/4 of a page is long enough. 3/4 of a page is just nice.
Prof, if I may ask question, for the literature review part, is it recommended if we put the subsection in the proposal?
When you're talking about subject section, it's going to be long, isn't it?
Mm-mm.
It is going to be long. Think about that. Even with paragraph, when you write in paragraph form, people can visualize, because paragraph, it has to be from one paragraph to another. You got to have the continuity, and one paragraph talks about 1 or 2 things, that's all, not everything jumbled up. So you don't really need a subsection in there. People will know if you have positioned the paragraph properly.
Correct. Noted, Prof.
Yeah. Now we move on to relevance to government policy. So this is the part there whereby you got to relate to the social economic drivers. Yeah. Okay. The things that you need to relate to. If you have a collaborator, then relate to mention the agency or the industry. But for ICT, we only want industry, no agency, only industry. So you can write down how is it related, your output related, or your work related to the industry, your work related to this 10-10 thing, my site, and then KEGA, SDG, and also the Anjakan besar thing. shows what is related and how it can benefit the nation. This is about storytelling here. You got to do the writing. Quarter of a page is already too big. To me, I think 1/5 of a page is good enough. Just 1/5. Precise and concise in stating it. Right. The next part is the objective. It has a certain percentage as well. This will change as well, the percentage here. It has to be specific, meaning that when you read your objective, straight away you know what will be the output of the objective. When you fulfill the objective, you know what you will get. That means by specific. Measurable, meaning that you can test the output. Can do testing on that. Achievable, something not out of the blue. Stairways to heaven, you want to develop stairways to heaven. That is not achievable, definitely. Realistic, achievable and realistic here. You want to here. Achievable, maybe you want to develop a solar panel that can fly, that can be used to fly the aeroplane. Or maybe you want to do something that NASA wanted to do. It's not achievable, isn't it, for us? Realistic, stairways to heaven. Within time frame, yes. If it's a master student, make sure the objectives is within the 2 years that the master student can do. The PhD is within 3 years. Not too small for a 3-year project, not too big for a 2-year project. Not too small for a 2 master student, not too small for a 1 PhD student, or not too big for a master student. Definitely the objective, you have to relate to the research question, and also meaning that you relate to the problem statement. So you have clear research question 3, you have research issue 3 just now. You can have, let's say, 3 objectives then. Or you can have 4 objectives to relate to the 3 research questions. It depends. So if you have that, then you see, it's easy for you. You have clear problem, easy for you to write the research question, easy for you to coin the objective. Now let's see what are the words to be used in the objective. To formulate, good. To study, not good. To see, not good. To develop, yes. To create, yes. To construct, yes. Think about Bloom taxonomy and see how rigorous are the words for Bloom taxonomy. Level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4. You want to show the rigorousness of your work. So not to see, not to study. No, these are not good objectives. Okay. This is to show you how it can be done. For example, this is just an example. Remember, no proposal is perfect. You won't be able to get a perfect proposal. Just like your thesis, it's not a perfect thesis, the same thing. And it's okay. So again, there are some flaws as well here, but then it is acceptable for this one. This one is actually an example of enhanced binary gray wolf optimization algorithm for feature selection in anomaly detection. So just now when I show you the diagram, it has 3 issues, right? Issues that when you combine it, it will produce, it won't produce a good classification accuracy. Good solution quality, meaning not, in this case, not the good classification accuracy. So the first problem is actually random initial population. Second one is local optima. Third one is linearly dependent parameter. So you have 3 questions here. So you can also write 3 issues here. You can write the question here. Will an enhancement of the initial population in the problem algorithm provide better feature subset selection to improve the classification accuracy? And look at the objective here. They wanted to replace the random initial population with heuristic initial population. This one, local optima, there's a question here. And then they wanted to solve the local optima. They developed a new position update technique so that it won't get stuck into local optima. The third one, they wanted to change the linearly decrement parameter with approach which is based on feedback from search process, meaning that this is actually a dynamic, not linearly now, but it's a dynamic because every time you change because of based on feedback. So this is a dynamic approach. This is this is linear as opposed to linear. So you see, and you can see the research question that is related to that one. You can read this one later because I will give the slide to you guys later. Don't worry about that. And as I said just now, it has to be a specific objective. Objective has the characteristic of specific. Look at this one, the first one. To design a heuristic initial population mechanism. So a mechanism will be the output. What mechanism? Heuristic initial population mechanism. The second one, the output will be a new position update technique. A technique for a new position update. The third one is an approach based on feedback process for the search from the feedback process from the search feedback from the search process. A new approach. I can reword this one to say that a dynamic approach based on feedback from the search process. So if I put the word dynamic here, it be clearly as opposed to linear. Okay. Clear what the output will be for each objective. So when you write your objective, you always question yourself, what will be the output after I fulfill the objective? If you want to explain to people in so many words, meaning that it's not a very specific objective. If you can just straight away say blah, 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 then it's a specific objective. Okay. Be honest with yourself when you write this thing. Okay, now move on. Methodology. The methodology part is actually a heavyweight part, yet even 25%, maybe it's light. It will change again here, but it still reflects a very high percentage as well. You have to make sure that it is precise when you write how you want to fulfill the objective. And meaning that if you want to precise, you've got to detail out. If people want to understand how it's going to be done, it has to be detailed. Not brief, but detailed description of the methodology. Don't try to put point form. Objective number, put point 1, point 2, point 3, point 4, but very one sentence, no. We won't accept that because sometimes, most of the time, you don't know what to do. That's why you write one sentence most of the time. But sometimes you make a mistake, you only write one sentence because you think that that is sufficient. But most of the time, people doesn't know. So how do you know what to do for the methodology then, or to obtain to achieve your objective? This is where you find out when you do literature review. There are other studies who are related to similar to your study, and you can read from the paper how they perform the research, meaning that the methodology. So follow the thing. Describe, to achieve the objective. And this section you can put research design if you have one. The flowchart is a must, isn't it? You got to put the flowchart, the flow of your research, the Gantt chart, the time frame there is all automated for you. You just put in the figure and the description, and it will be drawn for you. And milestone. Remember, flowchart and Gantt chart and milestone are not the same, but it is related. In the Gantt chart, you might have more activities than in the milestone. Milestone, I would suggest that if you have a 3-year project, you only have 6 milestones. If you have a 2-year project, you have 4 milestones. Why I suggested that way? Because Mohi will evaluate your progress every 6 months. So it's good to report you have achieved something in a period of 6 months. For every 6 months, it's good that you can report it. So that's why I say a rule of thumb, 1 milestone for every 6 months. And then a framework. If you have a framework, put it in. If you don't have it, it's okay. I'm going to show you the framework related to the research just now. An example. If you put a framework, you still have to describe the framework, the content of the framework, especially the methodology. I would suggest that you divided the section in the methodology, I mean, not you divide, but you write down the methods and you divide it into phases. Phase 1, to achieve objective number 1. Phase 2, objective number 2. Phase 3, objective number 3. So it's clear and very structured writing, easy for the reader to read, easy for you to channel out which methodology refers to which objective. Easy. I'll show you. So this is the framework for the research that I showed to you, the title of the research I showed to you. I have divided, remember, 3 objectives, 1, 2, 3, and the last one, phase of the evaluation of the proposed algorithm, in this case, proposed algorithm. So phase 1 is related to initial population mechanism. If you read the objective, there is a word on initial population mechanism. What is it? So it's going to be a mechanism, right? Heuristic, isn't it? It's no longer a random. So heuristic-based method. The method here is actually simple, brief, because it's in the diagram. So if you present this framework in your methodology section, you got to describe this one in detail, related to the outcome as well, description. So in the phase 1, you describe this one, these two together. Phase number 2, you describe how you're going to perform the position technique based on bird algorithm movement. Yeah. The third one, how are you description on controlling the exploration and exploitation parameter. And we should relate to the third objective. And lastly, phase number 4, you describe how are you going to perform the evaluation. Obviously, you are going to talk about the data sets to be used, the classifier to be used for classification, the performance metrics to be used for comparison, and what are the benchmark algorithm for you to use for when you do the comparison. So this one, you see, is detailed comparison, different benchmark algorithm. But when you describe it, you will mention the names of the algorithm in detail. So provide the framework if you can draw and then describe in detail. If possible, break it up into phases, right? So it's easy, structured, easy to read, easy to write as well. Any question?
Any questions
Are
from
we
the
on
audience?
halfway through, right? Now we are halfway through.
Alright, Prof.
Okay. No, I'll move on. Okay. I hope you understand. This is that part of the expected result. The new theory part is actually you got to relate down. You got make sure that you write and it is synchronized with the title. The title say an algorithm, the title say theory, then you put theory. The title say framework, then you got to write down this is the framework here. In the case of that now, in this case of this one, I will write down the main thing is actually the algorithm. But apart from that, we also produce some fundamental things because this is all new, a new mechanism for this one, and also a technique for position update, and also this dynamic parameter control. So put it in here. And then impact to quintuple helix. This one you got to write down the impact of your output. Related to society, academia, government, industry, and environment, as well as all those SDG, KEGA. Somehow you have to be able to write down to reflect this one together with the SDG thing as well. Publication, we only require 2 journals, articles, 2 journal articles. One has to be, the journal has to be indexed in WAS. The other one, it could be in Scopus, ERA, MySite, what else? Or WAS again. Yes. But for ICT, I think it's good for you to have 1 WAS or 1 Scopus. Or you can have 2 WAS. Write down the name of the journal. And don't try to impress the panel to give more than 2, because you might not be able to publish more than 2 articles when you have completed your research. So you can close your research, but the KPI was not achieved. So just minimum of 2. And we will look whether those articles are related or not to the area, to the previously published articles of yours. Sometimes you try to impress it, you have never published in Q1, but you put in Q1 journals. All the time you have published in only Q4. So try to be practical, sensible as well, not to try to impress the panels. Talent, 1 PhD or 2 masters or 1 master. Write down there. Potential application, if your framework can be developed later on into a prototype, or your model can be later on developed into a prototype, then write down here, can be developed into a prototype for the use of maybe the road department transport people, or maybe from the agricultural agency, or maybe by the collaborator that you have. And here, remember, this is not a collaborator, this is potential application. So you can just write down who can benefit from your potential application. So this one has nothing to do with your KPI. You just write potential application. It has not been done yet. You said that it can be converted or developed into a prototype or system. IP, this is not compulsory. If you don't want to produce any IP, it's okay, just write down 0. But if you want to produce IP, the simplest IP is copyright. If you write down 1, then you got to produce 1. If you don't write down, if you write 0, then it's okay. It's not mandatory. Yeah. If you are a junior lecturer and you wanted to be a leader, fine, it's okay. You just come back from your PhD and you got your PhD. You might not be having any project yet, research yet. So in the form is 0. But you might be having 1 or 2 publication. Fine, okay. You have to make sure that your partners, your team member, has got to be people who has several research in the area that you are proposing now, and they have publication as well. So we are confident that those seniors can help you to undertake this research. So okay, you've got to have senior partners in your team. Professor, associate professor, senior lecturer in the team. So if you are a junior lecturer, just came back from completing your PhD, don't compose your team of all other junior lecturers as well, because nobody is going to help you. Everybody is new, doesn't know, and we are not confident that you can undertake the research because everybody is inexperienced. So it's just like the blind leading the blind. Okay. So if you have a page, if you have a research, if you are not a junior lecturer, if you are a professor, I would suggest that you take in junior lecturers as a team member because you want to expose them to doing research. They can become your mentee and you can mentor them in doing research. Don't put in all your members are all professors as well, because professors are always busy and they cannot have meetings all the time. I don't know who's going to guide the students in doing the research. And you are not going, and you cannot mentor any junior lecturers. So professors, please take in junior lecturers to be a team member as well. So if you do a well-balanced team, you get full mark. If you have a well-balanced team and you are not really, and you are a junior lecturer, but a well-balanced team later on, you perform it, then you might be getting 4. I mean, 1 out of 10, maybe you may be getting 8 or 9. You won't be getting 10 because you are junior, right? Professor, you have the chances of getting a 10. Well-balanced team. So, okay.
Prof, for the team member, let's say if we have a collaborator, right? And this from the industry, and we actually have the LOI with them for this FRGS proposal, yeah? Can we add from their side as a team member?
Collaborator is a collaborator, not a team member.
All right.
What about you have a friend from other university? Can you consider collaborator? Can you?
That one can be a team member, right, Prof?
Yes, cannot be. Remember, ICT is industry, right? Collaborator, so she or he cannot become a collaborator. Is team member. Now, definitely a team member will have expertise that can cover the research area, the topic that you want to do. If you are doing application domain of a medical, make sure there's somebody from a medical background in there. Not all ICT. So for that reason, you have to start your team as small as possible. The number of members, start small, don't start big. Here, you have here the minimum number of people in one team is 3 because you have 2 members and you as a leader become 3. Here, 6, right? Suppose you have put in 5 members and you want 6. And then we find out that, oh, you need to have somebody else in your team to cover for the medical part, because none of them all are in ICT. Database, AI, software, MIS, everything, you have it there in one. I don't know why you have everything, all the areas under IT to form one research area, because somehow you got to tick what are the sub areas and the subdomains, yeah, right? And then we said that you are doing medical. So where is the expert in medical in your team? You have to add. And then you said that it's already full. Yes. Dropping people when you have invited it is a sad thing. It's a difficult thing to do. So start small. Add in when it's required. So if you only have 3 at the moment, 3 in a group. So you said that, oh, you need a medical expert to be in a group. It's easy for you to add in. But here, if you already 6 in the group, you want to drop someone. So it's very difficult, isn't it? So start small and bring in only appropriate people and people who can do work, can help you. Always remember, if you are a leader, the proposal you have to ask other members to help you to prepare the proposal. Please don't prepare alone, because 2 heads are better than 1. Bring in members that can contribute. We don't want to see free rider in the research team. Start small, okay? Junior lecturers or senior lecturers, you don't want to get in one professor in there. Why? You are jealous of him. That professor never do her work or his work. Never come for meeting. Never mind, because sometimes you might be having problem. And the professor can always describe to you how to solve the problem. You might be having problem in contacting a certain agency or industry or certain people outside from the university or maybe from other universities. They don't entertain you, say. That professor has good connection. With just a phone call, you can get what you want. Yeah? Okay? Professors are busy, yes, but with his or her knowledge can help you. His or her connection network can facilitate your work. Think about that. Right? Okay. Quality of the proposal, it has to be meticulous. Usually, female are more meticulous than male. Usually. We don't want to see full stop going around somewhere, question mark in inappropriate places, a question without a question mark, exclamation mark, or something like that. Proper use of language. Yes. If you're not good in your English, just send for English proofreading. You will facilitate the reading by the panel. Send for English proofreading. Good formatting and presentation. 1 page, 1 paragraph. Does it make sense? Break up into several paragraphs and make sure the paragraphs are the flow is there is a continuity between one paragraph to another. Logic flow of what you want to tell, story. Make it interesting to read. Good formatting. So that gives some marks there. Element of FRGS criteria. We'll see how the impact of your output, then we can judge whether it is novelty or not, cutting edge or high impact or not. If you can come up with several fundamental things, even the small things, but altogether many fundamental output, then you get more marks. If just a small thing, Sometimes some people will write a proposal, proposing a research to come up with a fundamental output, say a model, and there is one objective whereby he or she put in to develop or to implement the model to achieve to get a prototype or a system. That is acceptable because you have that fundamental model and there is a value added there. A prototype will be developed. Good, very good. You know why? If you get this research, you have a fundamental and you have a prototype, and later on you can use this research as a basis for you to apply for FRGS. FRGS. I mean, you can start off with TIL3 and goes on to TRL5 for FRGS. Okay. Moving on. Yeah, moving on. Or later on, some of the audience might want to.
Assalamualaikum, bro.
Salam. Siapa tu?
Syakawi.
Syakawi, yes.
Just want to know what do you mean by high impact, so because different definition for different benda kan. So what is high impact in this case?
So we will read at the section where you got to describe relevance to government. Remember in the background? Because it's not happening yet, isn't it? you anticipate it to be high impact. So you can tell the story there. And also in this small part in the expected output, 2 places there. 3 places, the potential application as well. So we
So
can
it
see
must,
the impact. We will judge whether it's high impact or not. Don't relate this to high impact journal. Okay, that is different.
that's the thing tu. Yang what do you mean by high impact? Means say that the 5 area tu kan, industri dengan industri community semua tu lah.
Yeah, that's part. Yeah, sure. Then we can judge whether it be good or not. Really high impact or not, we can judge. This is very subjective, right? This part here as well, you can see there. Yeah, this is another part that we can check. Relate to your SDG, KEGA thing as well, apart from this one. And also here, potential application. Okay. We can see here. So one part here, and the other one is relevance to the government. I can't quantify how the impact can be measured. It's not one bucket or one basket or something like that. Okay, Shakari?
Okay, Prof. Thank you.
Cutting edge meaning is really new, right? Something like that. Novelty is something very like a new theory. Something really new. That is novelty. Usually IT is a high impact usually. Cutting edge, it could be like in networking perhaps. Yeah. Okay.
Assalamualaikum.
Salam.
Okay, Prof. This is Dr. Zainab. I was working in SOC previously. Okay. First, I want to thank you.
Were you in UM before?
Yeah, I was in UM 2 years ago.
Yeah. I didn't catch your surname Atal Bashi, but I know Zainab.
Yeah, Zainab Sinan. Yeah, I used to use that my father name. Yeah. Okay. First, I want to thank you for helping me to get the FRGS the first try it when I tried it in UM. I attended one workshop with you, and then I consulted the head of research unit, and alhamdulillah, I got it. So thank you very much for the workshop today. It's very, very useful. I was listening. I just wanted to ask, for 2 years, I'm submitting FRGS, but I'm getting rejection. The first time they give me, okay, valid points. I feel like, okay, I improved it better. Now I believe my proposal is really good. The second time, which is last year, the only comment I got that I don't have a letter from the industry that they will do it. And I was planning to do it, but I didn't have time to do that. So you advise me to submit it again for third time, or it's too late?
No, you can submit again if you don't have a FRGS proposal now. If you're eligible to submit, yes, submit it again. But if you want to submit the previously rejected proposal, please make sure that you update the references. Collaborator, this is one mistake that is being made by all the applicants, by most of the applicants. You only try to find a collaborator when you want to fill in the part of the collaborator.
Yeah, so
start identifying the collaborator from the beginning. Get them involved in writing the proposal as well with you.
Okay,
so that the proposal makes sense to the industry.
Because actually I was planning to propose a completely different topic. So if you advise me to maybe third time, but maybe I will get it this time, I would do it.
I don't remember what you were you asking
because
for.
actually I'm working on halal supply chain. So the plan is to get someone who's involved with halal supply chain in general. So now if I get the letter, just try to improve the proposal. Will that be a problem if I submit the same title again and again?
You propose a framework, a model, or what?
It's framework.
A framework. So it's quite, see how extensive is the testing of the framework and how useful is the framework. You've got to make sure of that. And you've got to have an industry, definitely industry. So in the logistic perhaps, I don't know, halal supply chain covers a lot of things, right? The process, the industry, or the supplier. So which section do you?
I'm working on tracking using blockchain and IoT. Tracking the halal supply
For
chain.
what? For what?
Tracking the halal supply chain using tracking, yeah. So
Tracking the logistic or tracking the component of the things that halal thing.
I'm tracking the components, yeah, the product themselves. How to make sure at the end it will be halal. That's how to make sure the source was certified, and when we reach to the market, it is still going through all the process. No one is
the process.
Yeah, the process. Yeah.
Okay. I think we cannot discuss your proposal here because
yeah, sure. Yeah, but in general, this is the question. Trying again and again in the same topic, will that be a reason to reject it, or it's only about what's
No, we would say because you have submitted for the 4th or the 5th time. Perhaps you have not catered for the, you have not updated the literature.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Prof. Thank you.
Prof, continue from the Zainab's question just now. So let's say if the researcher want to apply with the same proposal from the rejected proposal, so the thing that they need to revise is just the literature review parts.
Update literature review and also attend to all the comments provided by the panel.
Is there any percentage that they need to revise?
No, I can't say because it depends on the comments actually.
Okay.
Yeah, because when we look at the thing later on, when we, I'm sure you will become a panel as well. If you can display side by side to see the similarity in the migrant. Of course, the resubmit the rejected proposal will have a high similarity index, right? 90, 99, perhaps. You can see from there. If 80% similarity, maybe the author, the applicants has done a substantial revision because 20% is not the same. But if it's 99%, meaning that the applicant has not done any changes. So meaning that it's a rejected proposal, right? I'm sure there'll be some corrections, but the similarity index is still 99.
So the similarity index, this one can be viewed only from the MOHE reviewer, or it can also be reviewed by panel reviewer. The university internal reviewer cannot.
Yes. And you can see which part, we can put it side by side and we can see which part that has been amended. We can see that. But if it's a new proposal, and we can see the similarity index is the same as other approved proposal, meaning that you have plagiarized people's proposal. You can see that as well.
Okay.
Now, this part here, you know yourself in terms of technical, timing, and budget risk. You just don't take low just to impress the panel. Because whatever you take here, you got to justify. Why technical is low, why timing is low, why budget is low. If you take medium, also you got to justify, or if you take high, also you can have to justify. So whatever box that you take, you got to justify. Say, for example, timing is low. Why timing is low? You can give reasons saying that there is already a student who will register as soon as you have been granted the grant. So you don't have to wait to recruit students. If you don't have in your mind, this is just an example. If you don't have in your mind any students, then you might want to put as medium or high, right? So if you put medium or high, you said that the students is not there, I got to find, you got to tell how can you overcome that to make sure that you won't be having any problem in terms of timing performing the research. Technical, say, or budget, say. Budget, you wanted to buy an equipment from overseas, and that depends on the exchange rate. So the budget might go up or the budget might go down. Then you can decide yourself if you're buying using US currency or pound sterling, then you might know that's the exchange rate, how is the Malaysian currency working against all those two. And you can sort of expect that there'll be a price up or price down or something like that. Yeah? So anything that you take, you got to give reasons. So this is, I think this is a bonus. No, this is a compulsory. The bonus part comes is actually between these two things, the pattern search and the collaborator. Pattern search is actually, you got to do search using the keywords that I've told earlier, that you have to use those keywords. You go into lens.org and you get some result, and that results you got to put in the form provided by the ministry, and you got to interpret the results. This one, I think you need a special person, not a special person, somebody to explain on how to do the pattern search. Several universities have a center to perform pattern search for its researcher. That's good. In the form, in the application form, we have suggested to the ministry to put the link to the form, the result form as well. Now the form is not, the link to the form is not provided. You got to ask from RMC. But new application from now on, you have the link to the result form. Collaborator. This is, or ICT is only from the industry. We need to see the collaborator replying if they agree. They got to reply using their letterhead, stating yes, they agree to collaborate. State the name, state the title of the research, your proposals, state the title of your research, and also, if possible, state down what would be their contribution. Are they going to allow you to use their lab, or are they going to give you more fund, or are they going to give you data, or whatever that they want to give you in order of collaboration? Not collaboration in terms of name alone, but there has to be something, because that's why you collaborate. Okay. Now, these two things are actually bonus marks. So I strongly encourage you guys to upload these two things, to have these two things. In order for you to upload, you make sure that you upload the correct thing. Pattern search. This year's application, majority were rejected, not because of the quality of the proposal, but because of the uploaded things which is inappropriate. There are people uploading blank document file for this part and also this part. And the panel at the university level didn't open the attachment but give full mark because they want to support their friends, to help their friends to get maximum marks to be able to be categorized as recommended or highly recommended. But in the true sense is that the panel did not help the applicant, but the panel killed the applicant. Because we find out that it's cheating. Blank document, full mark. Irrelevant, not the attachment is a pattern search solution result form, but it is inadequate, full mark, instead of having only 2 or 3 over 10, but 10 over 10. So the process is not right. So that's what happened to some of your proposal, I think. Not because of the quality of the content of the academic content of the proposal, but because of certain process which is not right, process of evaluation at the university level. That's what happened. The panel tried to help you, but the panel really kill you. And sometimes the panel doesn't help you, but then the panel is lazy to open the attachment. Straight away give. Saw the attachment, didn't open the attachment, give full mark. Okay. So this part, make sure you provide the correct attachment to get the full mark. Now, the budget. This is one of the interesting part, and sometimes people say that you don't know how to do it, but always the budget is just a technical part. This is only technical. The one before this are all academic stuff, as academic content, where RMC cannot help you. But this part, RMC can help you if you ask for the advice. For masters and PhD, masters is 2000, PhD 2005. Yesterday, 2 days ago, one researcher from a university told me that she asked for 2 PhD and that thing got through the university level, meaning that the university panel didn't slash down the 2 PhD. In the guideline, it's only 1 PhD, isn't it? But she put down 2 PhD and the university submit her form to the ministry level. And then at the ministry level, slash down onto only 1 PhD. Okay, the budget is being slashed down. Then remember, she said if 2 PhD, she put in the objective, big objective for the 2 PhD. So she's in trouble. So I told her, why in the first place you put 2 PhD students, whereas in the guideline there's only 1 PhD, the maximum. See, don't try to be smart. If you say the maximum is 1 PhD, then 1 PhD. So you have a problem now. She's in trouble now because obviously 1 PhD cannot cater for the objectives that she has written down. So the ceiling is 2005 for PhD. So we've seen applications with only 2000 for PhD or 2300 for PhD, because obviously that is wrong. Not aware, or maybe she's not aware of the current ceiling. So make sure it's for PhD 2500. There's nothing wrong with this one because that's the maximum. That is what been stated by Muhi in the guideline. Masters, so 21,000 is for traveling. You can go for data collection and meeting within the country. Sometimes you can go face to face, sometimes you can do it virtually, whichever one suits you. Conferences, you can go for 2 conferences in Malaysia and outside Malaysia. I can't say international and not international conference because international conference I've been held in Malaysia as well. So in Malaysia 1 and outside Malaysia 1. So in Malaysia, you have to start in Malaysia first. In year 2, if it's a 3-year project. And year 3 for the one outside, abroad. Okay, don't start in year 1 because in year 1, you won't be able to achieve anything yet. Your student is struggling to present their proposal defense and whatnot. So start going for conference in year 2 and the second one in year 3. If it's a 2-year project, you only have 1 master student, both conferences can be applied during the 2nd year. So you can ask for the conferences in lodging, food, flight, taxis, fares, and the like. But the conference fee should be put in vote 29,000. Okay. Anything that you want to ask me here? Budget? But if you're not... Yes.
Prof,
Yeah.
regarding the GRE, so let's say in the proposal we stated 1 PhD student. So this PhD student can be international and or it can be local, or it should be local student.
Can be international student, either one, either local or international.
All right. So let's say if in the proposal 1 PhD and 1 master. So the combination. Okay.
3 years. But I think next year, this year, the new regulation, there won't be any combination.
So it should be local?
No, it should be only PhD or 2 masters.
I see. Okay.
Combination in terms of nationality is okay.
Okay.
Prof, sorry, I want to ask, even if the lecturer is international, the student can be international or should be local?
Student can be international. There's nothing on that.
Yeah, because when I was in UUM, I remember the RMC, they were like, if I'm international, my student should be local.
There's nothing that's stated in the guidelines saying that way.
Okay, so maybe it's the university at that time. Okay,
But
thanks.
the thing is that you need to have a co-researcher that is Malaysian
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
in your area.
Mhm.
Oh, another thing that I need to stress here is like this. If you, it doesn't matter whether you are international or local applicants here, lecturers. I'm talking about supervision. You have a student and you are the PI, so the student is under your supervision. And if you want to take a co-supervisor, make sure that you take a member which is next to be leader. Okay, if you have to move somewhere else, so that co-supervisor can become the main supervisor because in the particular area. Don't take somebody else not in the same area, because next appointed leader should be in the same area as the leader, isn't it? Okay, move on. Hang on, can I just yeah, all this what 24, 27, 28,000 here. You might be needing a huge amount of money. So if the money is a lot, if you want to ask for a big budget, you make sure that you will attach a quotation as well and give justification why. Everything can give justification. So rental, usually rental, we don't need to do rental, isn't it? Usually in ICT. Research material as well, not so much. We don't do experiment that much. But if you have to do, then you can ask. But if it's a lot of money, make sure that you provide the quotation. And maybe you need to do the research over the experiment over and over again, isn't it? So that means you need to have a lot of things to do. I mean, the amount should be a lot for you to do the experiment. And you can give justification, how many times. So that justification, we can cross-check again in your methodology section. In your methodology section, perhaps you will write down an experiment will be performed 10 times. So in here, if you ask for 10 amount of things to be done to be used in the experiment, then we know it's right because you have described in the methodology. So in the methodology, say that you wanted to collect data from 100 respondents. So probably you need enumerators to help you. Yeah, so and then you need materials for that, and you're not going to do online survey, you're going to do face-to-face survey. So definitely you will need certain things, right, in here. That one, I think it will be in the vote 29,000. But whatever it is, if you need a huge amount for these 3 votes, you need to have quotations and justification. Maintenance, if you want to upgrade your laptop or your computer, you may do so, but then you cannot ask for a new one. You cannot buy a new one. Anything maintained, you cannot buy a new one. Vote 29,000, this is where if you want to collect data, you want to go for pilot study and then real survey, right? So you need many things there. Pilot study, maybe 5,000. So you tell how many respondents in a pilot study, where it is, and then real survey, you need 10,000. And then you got to put them later on when you want to go out, then you can write to the RMC. But the amount 5,000 and 10,000, we will see whether it is appropriate or not in the methodology part. You got to describe. Pilot study will be performed on what, how many respondents, blah, 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 blah. And then we can see whether the 5,000 is sufficient or over the budget or what, under budget or over budget. And then real survey, you ask for 10,000 and we'll check in your methodology again. Did you mention real survey or have you mentioned the pilot study or not? So that's why I said the methodology part should be detailed so that we can see what you ask in the budget is correct or not. We can cross-check with the methodology. You can go for training in Malaysia face-to-face for not more than 3 months. You can go for training of courses offered internationally, but virtual, online training. You can't travel overseas for the course, for the training, but you can attend it online. We'll pay for the fee. Some training is offered only by US or UK or India or China, right? You can attend that, but online.
So, Prof, can
Yeah.
we go for certification under this one?
No,
No.
this is training.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. This one is buying a computer. Yes, you can buy computer or laptop or desktop or server appropriate with your research. If you ask for maintenance, we don't. But ICT domain, yes, we allow to buy equipment, computer, we allow. What else? Are we allowed to buy handphone? Yes, if your research is really about handphone, related to handphone, and it's a must to have the handphone in order to do research. Yes, you can ask for it. How many? One. Computer, how many? One. It's for the use for the student, not for you. At the end of the day, student has to return to you and you return to the university. Okay.
Prof,
Yes.
let's say under vote 35,000.
Yeah.
Let's say in the evaluation part, we need to have few tablets, for example, for the evaluation, because we want to do evaluation with a certain community, right? And then we need the tablet, so that one can be can we buy that under 35,000?
We want to do with the community. How many community will you do it concurrently? One community, 10 community in one go? 10
One
tablet.
community.
One community. So
Okay.
one tablet then.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's say if one community, but then this the parallel session, right? With few participants. So maybe
No,
perhaps we need few
we don't allow.
tablets.
We don't allow. Only one tablet. I mean, why the need of tablet? Why not just bring any laptop, other laptops? Why in particular tablet then? Easy to carry, light, not a scientific justification.
Because it's a mobile application.
Yeah, only one. Mobile apps. Don't tell me. I mean, in this era, IT lectures will be having phone, which you can use for mobile apps testing as well, isn't it? So that's it. Which one? If you want to buy a tablet or you want to buy a laptop for the student?
For the students, of course, we want to ask the students to do the work and so on, right? But then this one is more on the what we call the evaluation part, for the testing.
Yeah, you can ask and give good justification.
Mm.
If reasonable, yes, we do give. Okay.
Prof,
Okay. Yes.
regarding the vote 35,000 though,
Mm.
computer kan, do we explicitly write computer or we say that it's something processing machine?
Explicitly right, because you have to give a quotation.
Okay.
Yeah, quotation. Okay.
All right, thank you.
And justification. Why that particular thing?
Where do you put the justification dekat the same area?
Yeah, ada budget tu, ada tulis bawah tu, you can add in, yeah, add in there and provide the quotation. You don't provide the quotation, you won't get any money there.
How many quotation, Prof?
Satu lah.
Satu je.
Remember, we need to know. We are not finance people. We need to know. Budget is actually not the exact thing, isn't it? This is budget, not expenses. Expenses is actually the amount, the correct amount. This is budget. That's why we have quotation only one. When you want to buy later on, your budget 1.3, maybe quotation, right? To compare which one is the cheapest. But this is budget for the proposal. So don't worry too much about that, the amount.
Will the proposal be rejected if we ask for too much,
No.
or they just cut it, right?
Yeah, we
Okay.
just reject. We never reject proposal because of the budget. We never.
Okay.
So we want to practice. We want to want the applicants to ask, to request only what is really needed. We want to have want the applicants to have that culture. What is needed, then ask. Don't over ask. Don't over budget. Because sometimes when you read, oh dear, this one you only need 2,000. Why is she asking 4,000? So you see, panels are only human. So once you get that perception, oh, this applicant is all hike up the budget now. So we start cutting. We don't want that sort of practice. Ask only what you need, okay, in the budget. Okay. We have, yes.
I have a question. So if we want to resend the reject proposal, so do we need to change the title to make it like different with the previous one?
If you change the title will reflect the content, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, so you can stick to the old title.
Oh, I see.
You got to improve the proposal based on the comments.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Prof.
Improve the proposal based on the comment. Okay. And update your background writing. Improve the writing. You revise the proposal. That's it. I say you have to revise the proposal. Yeah. Okay. If you send the exact the same thing, that has been rejected. You send the same thing, it'll be rejected again. Okay. If the comment is on the title to be revised, then revise the title. If there's no comment on title, then that's fine. Use the same title. This is what I told the panel. If the proposal is rejected based on some major things that has been done in the proposal, and if the title also need to be revised, mention it there. The title can be enhanced, or please refine the title so that they give a constructive comment to the applicants again to do the correction. Panels have got to give constructive comment. Panels is a good panel will not write not fundamental. Okay, not okay. That is not a good panel. Because you don't know what is not okay, what is not fundamental, what is fundamental. Yeah. So we try to inculcate the practice of give the reason why the proposal is rejected. Okay, Dini?
Okay, Prof. Thank you.
That is sometimes not is beyond my control as well. Sometimes the panel. Now, this is why certain maybe some of your proposal is good, but then it's been rejected. There are two levels of evaluation. In your university, maybe you have the faculty level, you have the university level, and some universities, they have special interest group level among themselves, then go to department level, then go to university level. No, after special interest group, department, the faculty, and university, they have 4 levels, some universities, right? But majority of the universities, they have only 2 levels. School, then university. In MOHI, we have 2 levels. One level, we call it penaziran. We will evaluate the process that has been performed at the university level. The process, not the content of the, not the quality of the proposal, but the process. The second level is actually the evaluation part. So let me talk about the process that we look at the university. If we find out that the university appoint a junior lecturer to evaluate the proposal, that is wrong. The process is wrong. Because minimum requirement is an associate professor to evaluate a certain proposal. If we find out that the panel give inappropriate marks to certain section, like giving full marks to a blank document, giving full marks to a document, but the content is not perfect or not okay, not 100% okay, then there's something wrong with the university. So there are times when we don't look at all the proposal that has been submitted. If a certain university submit 100, we only take 10% of that 100 proposal, randomly 10, and then we look at the 10 proposal in detail of the process. And if we find out that 30% of the proposal, the process is wrong, then we will reject the whole proposal from the university. So we never look at the quality yet, but we look at the process, meaning there is something wrong with the process. So that is the process level, process evaluation level. The second level is actually the evaluation level, whereby in ICT, we have panels from various universities in Malaysia. And the panels previously is only professors. Then now we go on to associate professors as well. We invite to become panels. And then they will look. For ICT, I will appoint 2 panels to 1 proposal to make sure that it is not biased, in a way that sometimes the panel say recommended, sometimes whereas it should be not recommended, or sometimes it's rejected. But then the proposal is good, but maybe the panel makes some mistake and say that not recommended. So I will make sure that there's 2 panels for 1 proposal. And if the verdict is contrast, I will appoint another panel to look into it. So rest assured that at the KPT level, that your proposal will be evaluated fairly. That's the case. Okay. That's about evaluation. And then what do we look for? In general, we want to measure for quality proposal because we don't have a lot of money that we used to have previously. So money, there's a certain amount of fund for all the proposal, and for ICT, the fund depends on the number of proposal in ICT domain being submitted by all the universities. So you got to fight with other universities as well. So quality is the key word for us, quality proposal. So we're looking for informative title among things that you need to know, convincing executive summary, all the components are there, we read and okay, good, very convincing, right? Fresh insight into the problem statement with all the needed things that to be written there. Scientific background, meaning that you've got to review appropriate key references, key articles in there. The right review area as well. Research methodology, detailed ones. No point giving you the fund if you don't know how to perform the research. So this is a very crucial thing here. Realistic budget. Realistic, ask only what you need, realistic, and schedule as well. Small scope, not 3 years, only 2 years schedule. And definitely for us, we are looking for well organized and easy to read, easy for us to understand. So this, you can go for English proofreading, structured your writing appropriately, accordingly, ask for somebody else to read whether what you have written he or she can understand, because sometimes you fail to convey the message to the reader. Sometimes you fail. If you have distributed tasks to your team member to do certain parts, to write up certain parts, make sure you as a leader will go through again so that the writing makes sense. Yeah? Same style of writing. So don't just copy and paste and submit. You will never get a good proposal in terms of writing and presentation. Yeah? Okay. Rejected proposal. Why is it rejected? The main things, these are the main things, right? Domain mismatch. This happens usually in ICT. If you are a lecturer in education, you're a lecturer in business admin, lecturer in social science, lecturer in electrical engineering. You only use ICT as a tool, and yet you think that you have contributed to the domain ICT. So they wanted to submit in domain ICT, and when we read their proposal, it's just that there is no fundamental contribution in ICT. ICT is just as a tool. So definitely this will be rejected. Okay. Problem statement. This is the one that you have problems in the review. You have not done adequate review, and you try to write the problem, and you're going here and there, the problems. Not focused, not scientific. So we don't understand the problem. If you don't understand the problem, you will write something which is not focused. And when we read your problem, we don't really know what you want to solve. And when we do that reading down there, all the stuff that you have written, we don't understand. So out. Outdated or inadequate review. Outdated, you never upgrade your proposal. You want to resubmit your proposal again, you don't want to upgrade it. Sometimes it's a new proposal, you just copy and paste from your thesis, from your report, and you never update it. If you get your PhD, obtain a PhD in 2023, probably you submit your thesis in 2021. So your references in your thesis is the latest is 2021. And you are submitting the proposal with the latest writing from the thesis there. So we can see that it's outdated references, right? Inadequate review, meaning that you don't do enough review in that particular area that you want to do research. We can see that as well. Method, inappropriate, not the correct method to be used. Because when you do review, you know what is the correct method, and you can put citation in the methodology section. You have chosen this approach because your blah blah blah. You give your justification and you put the citation there, because that citation refers to a research which is similar to yours. So that is a successful research that has been reported. So you can do that appropriate method, and then you don't give detail. We don't want to see that as well. We want detail so that we know that you know what to do. Unclear mapping. In the title, mention theory. In the problem, you look at the problem of model. In the objective, you write down you want to produce algorithm. In the expected output, you said that the output would be methods. So you don't know what you want to do actually. You're not focused. If you do reading in your area, then you know the appropriate words to be used. I usually ask my students, what is it that people use the correct word for this one? Is it people use a scheme? Or is it people use technique? If you do a lot of reading in your area, then you know the most common word to be used. Okay. Unclear statement of impact. This one, if this is general knowledge, right? And you should know your contribution. How can it contribute to that? Okay. Those are the main things that we can look for, and we know that this is not a quality proposal, and definitely it'll be rejected. Dr. Zainab, nothing about budget, right?
Prof, I have question. So for rejected proposal, Prof, so when we want to resend again, so for example like this, the only comment from the examiner is need to modify or elaborate the methodology part. Is it possible to get the full evaluation from the previous round? Because if the comment only for methodology, it doesn't mean the objective is correct, right? Or it's already correct. So only get the comment on specific part that is incorrect.
I don't understand from previous evaluation. What do you mean? Previous evaluation, your evaluation at the university level?
From the KPT. So the rejection from the KPT, right?
The rejection from KPT, but you said just now, that was the comment on the methodology, meaning that's the only one then?
Yes.
So what do you mean by you want to get comments from other comments?
No, like this, Prof. So I plan to resend the proposal, so with some modification. So if I only get the comment on the methodology.
Oh, only, yeah. Oh, understood. So you use maybe the other parts are perfect.
Yes.
Maybe
No.
the panel is something like doesn't want to write other things. Sometimes panels are quote unquote doesn't have time to write.
Yes, understand.
Sometimes panels lazy to write. Yeah, I can say that. So I would advise you to revise, to look through again where other parts that you can update. Because you see, you want to resubmit, but the panel doesn't say that you have to update your references, is it?
Yes, but
I'm telling you now that you
to
have
your explanation, we need to update
the references.
Right?
And then now that you have followed my thing here, you might want to see whether the mapping is there or not, right?
Yes.
To synchronize the words being used for all the sections there, the relevant sections. You might want to go through that as well.
Okay.
So that's why I said, in other words, revise the proposal. It might be a minor revision, not major revision, but somehow revise and update it.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Prof.
That's it for my talk today, Dr. Azura.
Thank you very much, Prof. Any questions from the audience? From the chat box? Okay, maybe I can read a question from Dr. Aznan here. Can we apply FRGS to extend a study that was previously done on a small scale?
Previously done as
small scale.
Completed. Small scale, you want to make it bigger, meaning that you want to extend the study. Yes. Follow-up study. Yes. Extension of the study, not the same study, bigger scope. Extension of the study. Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
From the chat box, that's the only question. Perhaps I can open to the audience. If you want to ask question, you can unmute and ask question directly to Prof. I guess there's no question, Prof.
Everybody understood or what?
Yeah, I guess you have a comprehensive and clear presentation, Prof. So that's why they didn't ask.
Okay, so I would like to say that I hope everybody will submit again the rejected ones. Obviously, revise, update it, upgrade it, yeah, and submit it again. If it's not fundamental, try to revise it to make it fundamental. You have all the hints, the tips that I've given to you just now. You get my slide later on. I will give it to Dr. Azura. I see 1 or 2 mistakes in my slide just now in terms of writing. So I'll just do the correction and give it to Dr. Azura. And Dr. Azura can give it to the others. Just one
Thank you very much, Prof. Thank you very much. Alhamdulillah. If there's no question, maybe we can I can conclude the talks today. So Alhamdulillah, thank you very much, Prof, for the info. So I would say that this is a very comprehensive one, and lots of tips and also example to write the proposal for FRGS. By the way, Prof, do you know how much funding that will be allocated for next year's FRGS?
The same thing as this year.
This year, how much, Prof?
Well, I'm not allowed.
Is it increased from year 2022?
No, the same. It's hundreds of millions as well.
I see.
Hundreds
All right.
So
and it's a big competition, right, Prof, with the other universities?
Well, not all our universities send a lot of applications, so
I see.
don't be scared about that. I mean, you are still capable of writing good proposals, even though you are not the research university. Don't worry about that.
That's a motivation, Prof.
Yeah, don't worry about that.
All right. Okay, so perhaps I can get the slides from Prof after the correction, minor correction from Prof. Thank you very much for the knowledge sharing, Prof, and important issues in the FRGS evaluation process that you mentioned just now. Inshallah, we are going to have another session with Prof. Rohana, probably early next year or end of this year. And this time you are going to do physically and more hands-on session. So hopefully during that time, there are ready proposal to be reviewed by Prof. Rohana before we submit to the RMC for the internal review process. Before I forgot there, Prof, our Dean, Prof. Muni, is currently attending at the event and she's convey her salam to you and also to the other audience who's joining today's talk. Right, thank you very much to the organizer as well, and thanks also to the participants who joined the session today. May Allah bless us all and give wisdom to us to write a competitive FRGS proposal. Inshallah, we pray more proposals secured by KICT this year, inshallah. I guess we can end the session with Tasbih Kafarah and Surah Wal-As, and after that maybe we can have a photo session. All right, so perhaps you can open your video for a photo session. All right, before this we have 30 plus, now reduced to 20. All shy to open the video. All right. Okay, let's, okay, I will take the picture. Right, smile everyone. Okay, ada siapa lagi? Dr. Zainab, do you want to open your video? All right. Yeah, I guess I can take the picture. All right. Smile everyone. 1, 2, 3. All right, another one. Yeah. All right, 1, 2, 3. All right, thank you very much, everyone. Thank you, Prof. Maybe I can communicate with you with WhatsApp to get the slides and also other Prof. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much to all. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum.
Thank you, Prof.
Thank you, Prof.
Thank you, Azura. Bye.
Thank you.